Want to 10x your growth? Discover how only 3 growth hacks in 10 days can change everything. Welcome to the 10-Day Growth Hacking Challenge with your host, Nader Sabri. Today, we're here with Ankar from PursueIT.ae. We're here on the final part of the total 10-day challenge. Congratulations, Ankar, for finishing. And you also another congratulations for being sponsored and nominated by the Founders Institute. Double congratulations to you, Ankar.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. So as we come to the end, it's always a learning experience for us all. Maybe you can give a bit of background to some of the key things that you've learned, some of the transformations you've had, and some of the things that you see that you'll be moving forward with after using this 10-day growth hacking challenge for the future of your own growth.
Sure. So I think when I came into this program, I think one of the key things I was looking for was growth, right? So we are at a stage where we had some traction. We've had a certain number of customers. We've been doing the traditional stuff, through various channels that people do and kind of making that progress. But the idea was to see how we can actually multiply our growth and how we can actually take our services to a larger base of people. And normally, I think when people look at this, it's always about money and like how much resources you have. So how much money I can put into my ad budgets to reach out to more people? How do I get relevant people? But I think through the course of this journey, my learning has been sort of so far that, there are ways. And what I wanted to kind of find through this challenge and program was to look at those innovative techniques that can be applied, which are not always resource dependent, where you can apply tricks and stuff to help kind of, grow the business in a more smarter way and kind of a faster way. So that's been the kind of journey and the learnings that I've had through the program, where we've gone through that and explored the different options and ways to grow the business by just being a bit more creative, innovative, and kind of really getting the right messaging across to the customers.
Fantastic. And what kind of impact have you seen so far? I mean, I know that obviously 10 days is a short period of time, but as you know, we do things as quickly as possible to get signals, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But what are you seeing in the sense of impact when it comes to what's that done for you, your business, first off, and then also for you as the principal owner of the business, of course, some of the transformations that have happened for you that you're going to walk away with from the challenge are going to really help you out?
Right. So see, as a business owner, as the founder of the company, I think the biggest change or transformation for me is really about kind of looking at different avenues and exploring them and understanding how they can make a difference. So previously, let's say if we were to look at a channel and say, okay, but this may not work. I think the whole concept of getting signals, low friction, high impact is really a very good way to test out anything that we think of, because the way we would think, our customers may or may not think in that way, the people who are we trying to approach with that. So a big transformation as a part of this growth challenge is to kind of really look at those aspects. And before you actually even go and invest your time, effort, money, and do whatever you on the technology side of things, etc., it's good to kind of find those ways to look at the signals from different things that are being planned and see how does it work. And then look at whether this is going to be, a low friction and a high impact kind of a stuff. So it helps prioritize things that we can do, because as an entrepreneur, as a startup company, I think it's important to kind of be quick, be fast, be more efficient. And this is a very good way of doing it. Yeah. I think from a business point of view, I would say that, the hacks that we looked at, they're good and promising hacks, some different ways of going to our customers and partners, and not just about looking at it all from, let's say, a customer perspective, right? Looking at the entire kind of the ecosystem and seeing who are the other players, or who could be the outsiders, which we would normally consider as outsiders to the ecosystem, who could actually be potential partners to help us reach out to a larger customer base. So from all of those perspectives, I think we have looked at those two things, and it's been a beneficial kind of a journey.
Excellent. Yeah, what I've noticed is from the very beginning, I know when we talk about signals and we talk about low friction, I think those two principles, which of course we use many other principles, but I think those two principles resonated the most with you. And I saw you apply it actually from day one. And I remember, when we were having the few phone calls with the constraints, you remember, oh man, we got some constraints. I was like, there's no such thing as constraints. Let's talk, right? You remember this? And then when we started exploring where those constraints are, so supposed constraints were, and we saw where the growth opportunities in those constraints really were, and how to actually go about that and test them with signals. And we did several adjustments. If you notice, as we go through this, we were on the same direction because we're solving for the same type of growth problems, but we're finding different channels to do that. And we're finding it in, again, low friction, high impact, which you picked on very quickly, and then finding the signals. And the signals is so interesting because there's a psychology behind signals. And I always tell people that, and they kind of jump back when I tell them, because the problem is when you think you have the answer, you have a lot of weight on your shoulders, right? You felt that before, right? And so you need to make it work. But when you're out there just looking for the signals, it's almost, you're kind of like surfing on, you're surfing across the beach and the waves aren't really hitting you. You're just kind of going in and out and discovering where the best wave to take is. And when you find it, you just take it without any friction because you're out there kind of exploring. So I saw that transformation take place, at least from my side. Those are transformations that I've seen. And I think also the other thing that I've noticed as a transformation is what you were identifying as constraints in the beginning. By the time we came to the third hack, you weren't actually identifying any constraints. You were actually turning them around on your own. Did you notice?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what kind of happens is, like, I think, that's the way the journey helped, in a big way. And of course, looking at the options, there's always an alternate kind of that we can look at within the same approach, so I know it's definitely helped, and that's how we kind of went. I agree.
Yes.
Hack 1, we had a lot of different constraints that we were looking at. By the time we reached hack 3, we didn't have so many issues and challenges.
Yeah. Well, it's because you mastered it. It's not we didn't have them. They were still there. I was actually observing them. They were still there, but you were already finding ways around them, because by the time we'd gone through the hurdles in hack 1 and we were shifting to hack 2, kind of went like that in the sense of the constraints, because you were finding ways already around them. So you were already anticipating. Anticipation is a really important skill, by the way. Unfortunately, it's not a skill that's taught at school or in many training, but anticipation is crucial. So you were anticipating them. And I saw that transformation as well, which I think was really awesome. So my hat goes off to you. If there's any kind of last kind of takeaway that you would like anybody who's watching this, imagine there's somebody watching this right now. They want their business to grow. They can't get on the challenge, or they haven't been on the challenge, or they want to get on the challenge. What would be the biggest takeaway that you'd give as a piece of advice to somebody watching this challenge right now from the things that you've learned in the last 10 days that can help them out?
Right. So I think my advice to people would be that, as we just covered sometime, that, there are ways and means available. There's so many things that can be done. It's really about expanding one's thought process and looking at it beyond, the regular channels, because the way I see it, like even in my, interaction with other entrepreneurs, most of the discussion happens around very standard marketing channels that people use, whether it is digital advertising, social media, SEO, organic, AdWords, social. And so people kind of look at that. And I think, what I would encourage people when it kind of looking at this is to really think about the possibilities of growth hacking, where, people can actually use different ways and means to do it, to get in front of customers quicker, faster, at a bigger volume, and also kind of, get their response feedback to fine tune it. Because I think the more important thing is, rather than kind of putting something into place and kind of rolling it out in a perfect fashion, it's always good to kind of do it in bits and pieces, keep testing out, keep adopting as kind of you move along.
Yeah, agreed. And I think you point something out very important. A lot of people, when they hear the word growth hacking, assume that it's just marketing and so forth. I mean, digital marketing or marketing, but it's actually not. And that's actually a small component of the whole thing. So we talked about that in my first book about cross-functional growth hacking and how it's just much deeper than that. It's a very fascinating field, and it's a science of its own, which a lot of people don't realize. But by going through this process, you've started to master some of the key principles of this science, which then show you directly that it's just way beyond marketing and how you're just connecting all these different things to get those exponential results. So that's pretty good, man. Pretty good. So as you know, as we come to end, one part of the way that our challenge works is it's a pay it forward system. Every contender who got the opportunity gets a chance to pass the opportunity on by nominating 3 more people, obviously, who qualify with simple things like, do they have a growth problem? Are they in a similar situation like you? And they can benefit from what is available through this system and this challenge. So over to you. Who are your nominees, man? Who are you going to throw into the hot seat right after you?
Right. There's so many people I think who would love to do this opportunity. But I think the 3 people I am thinking of, who would be kind of ready to jump onto this program. Brigent, he's running a resume building service and an HR service for blue collar workers. So that's an amazing project.
Oh, yes.
Dr. Noor, he's building a second kind of a consultation service for cancer patients, which is where, helping people there. And the third one is Yusuf. Now he's building a social media platform or a social media kind of an advertising platform, which would where people would actually benefit from the spend that companies would be doing on social media. So a way for them to make money. So these are the three people I think of now nominating after me for the challenge.
Very cool. Awesome. So let's do that. So as we come to the end, I always have a surprise for everybody. And the surprise is always, as you know, in the book, and I know you had some challenges getting it, but I sent you a link how to do that. And so in the book, essentially, we do only 3 of the 20 hacks in here. And I challenge everybody at the end because the 10 days, we have a lot of fun in the 10 days and we get results, but the objective is not the 10 days. The objective is to use the 10 days as a foundation to move you beyond the 10 days so you continue growing. So in here, we've got 20 spots for hacks. We've done 3 of them, meaning there's 17 left. So I challenge everybody at the end, if you finish the 17 in the in 60 days, and so if in 60 days you finish the 17 hacks in here, and I'll go through them with you, I'll put you into my all-star program. The all-star program is being defined. That's where I look at my top of the top players who come into the system, and we look at how to further accelerate their growth, who continue working down the same system. So the challenge is over to you. I know that 10 days are structured. The remaining 60 days, if you decide to take it on for the 17, is up to you.
Sure. Okay.
Right? Awesome, guys. That's Ankur from PursueIT.ae. To check it out, go below. Go to the first video if you want to know more about him. Congratulations to him. And a huge congratulations as well by being sponsored by the Founders Institute, who have nominated him among several of the other top entrepreneurs. Only their top of creme de creme get selected and come to our program. So congratulations on that. Good luck in your growth and keep us posted on what happens next with you.